Creating the arm is going to be a lot like creating the leg, to where we need to put an IKHandle on this character. And one thing that you've noticed, or may not have noticed, is that in class I purposely left out the clavicle. I mentioned it, and that is this addition right here. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to email me or let me know and I will reply to them. And this is one of the things that you probably should think about adding in. Now, we went exactly from spine 5 over to the shoulder joint, and I made the addition of the clavicle right here myself on the side. So that's going to be a little project for you guys to work on to see if you remember the tools that we used to create that and add that in. As for the arm, we're going to create the IKHandle. Okay? Now the IKHandle is going to work on the arm the same way that it works on the leg. So when we were setting up the left leg in the tutorials, we're going to do a lot of the same thing to the arm, except we're going to have an effector to deal with. So to get along with this, we have to decide what type of IKHandle we want to create for the arm. And for us, it needs to be a rotate plane solver, because this arm does need to rotate. We are going to have to put a pole vector on it so that we can correct the arm movement as we animate. So we want that ability to be able to make the arm rotate correctly and not snap in a weird or strange, undesired way. To begin, we can go up to skeleton, down to IKHandle tool option box, and in the option box we can tell it to be a rotate plane solver right away. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off sticky. So right down here, I turn off sticky, and I have a rotate plane solver. That's all I have to worry about at the moment. I'm going to go back to my channel box here just to open up my screen a little bit for you guys. And what I'm going to do is show you this. If I try to set it up the same way as the leg, by going from the shoulder all the way to the wrist, and I move that handle, you're going to see that I have something undesirable. And that is the fact that the forearm is broken. Okay, now we put this left forearm roll on here to allow the skin to deform a little more correctly in the manner that we would like it to be as a realistic type of movement. Okay, and you're going to see here that going straight from the shoulder to the wrist here is giving us this broken forearm. Now, how do we fix that? Well, there's a couple of ways here. I'm going to undo to the point where I added an IKHandle, and always look down here. This will indicate exactly what you have undone. So it's saying left shoulder dot rotate pivot. So basically it did get rid of the IKHandle going from the shoulder all the way to the wrist. Okay, and you don't see it in there. Also, if you need to, refer to your outliner. So window down to outliner, go towards the bottom, because since it was a new object, every new object will be placed towards the bottom here. Okay, so it's gone. The last things that I created showing me is that I had a left leg IK and a right leg IK, and that's okay. So what I'll do here is I will create this again. I'll go up to skeleton. I'm going to go down to the IKHandle tool, and it should still have my same options. If ever you're unsure about that, go to skeleton, down to IKHandle tool option box, and sticky is turned off, and I have a current solver of a rotate plane solver, so an IKRP solver. Now, I can come over here, and what I'm going to do is click from the shoulder to the left forearm. Okay, the left forearm roll. And basically what I'm telling Maya to do is that it's going to take the two joints that I have connected that IKHandle, and what it's doing, and you saw this in the last example, is that it's rotating every other joint in between there. Okay, so if you had like a hook effect that you wanted to get, then going from the shoulder to the wrist would have been okay, but we were getting an undesirable effect that's non-realistic as to where this would be a broken forearm. Okay, if we want that desired effect in the animation, that's a good way of letting a supervillain break Spider-Man's arm in this case, and what we can do is go into FK mode and have this arm dangle around as a broken forearm, if that were the case. In this case, we want the desired effect of only rotating this joint in the middle, which is going to be the elbow. So going from the shoulder to the left forearm roll is the way of working. Now I can test it, always test it. Okay, you can see I don't get a broken forearm. My elbow's working okay, and everything is looking pretty good. So what we can do with this is we want to be able to select the IK handle from the wrist. Alright, and one of the things I noticed is that we haven't labeled this yet. So let's call this left arm IK. And that's just in the channel box. You can label it wherever you like, even in the outliner. Now, what we have here is the handle being at the end where we would be able to select it, right here where the forearm roll is, and we want to be able to have that handle end over here because we are going to make another controller for this hand, for the wrist. Okay, and it needs to take this handle with it, so it makes sense for us to move it over here. Okay, the first way of going about that is to add what is called an effector. Or actually, we're going to take the effector that is already added on this and we're going to move it over here. So in the next tutorial we're going to do that. I'm going to try to keep these a little more short and sweet.